Hey,
Yo,
Michelle.
yo, 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 what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back to the channel, man. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 5K subs. So, of course, I'm pretty sure all of you have seen by now. If you haven't, Haley Van Lith has entered the transfer portal. This is kind of the one situation that really threw me off guard from all the transfer portal because, and I think I said this in the clip, but usually it's players who are looking for more opportunity on the court, more playing time, or a better chance of winning, um, more publicity or whatever you want to call it, more exposure. Exposure is the word I was looking for. More exposure for scouts on the next level to see them. Something like a Lou Lopez Hennichal going to UConn to get that exposure, become a WNBA draft pick or a first rounder mocked in a few drafts, as we saw that last night in the mock draft video, which you can watch as well. But to see that go from that to Haley Van at Louisville, that was a perennial Final Four slash Elite Eight slash Sweet 16 team from the time she's been there the entire time. They have Jada Curry coming in. Of course, they're losing, um, my dog from Atlanta, Morgan Jones, but they have Jada Curry coming in, and just a kind of consistent flow of talent coming in and out of there. The Indiana Fever rookie that came from there last season and stuff like that. So, they've just always had good talent surrounding her, good team. They've always kind of made it. They didn't win a championship, but I don't know if everything should always be national championship or bust. Um, she has her NIL deals. She has a good following on Instagram, always has, dating back to high school. She has that Kobe connection from back when she was in high school and stuff like that. So I'm I was a bit perplexed with this. Anissa Murrow made sense. Anyways, you are here for the top five players right now available in the portal. I guess it's technically four because Haley Van said no contact. She already knows who she's going to, which is a whole nother discussion. But yes, I have Haley Van number one. I have Anissa Murrow number two. I have Ashley Wusu number three. Sedona Prince. Well, I don't know. This is in that order. I just put down five names. Sedona Prince and Lauren Betts. Those are all five players out there on the market. I guess you could say four. Like I said, Haley Van said no contact. She knows where she wants to go. And you can kind of look at some of the, I guess, the best fits for these players and stuff like that. So Haley Van, LSU is a rumor out there because Baylor was her second choice coming out of high school with Kim Mulkey there. And now Kim Mulkey's obviously at LSU. Alexis Morris is going to opens up a spot in that backcourt, but you do have Michaela Williams come in, one of the top players coming out of high school, who is also a guard. And obviously you want probably Flage to kind of grow a little more in her role as well. But Jasmine Carson's gone and Alexis Morris is gone, so they do kind of have two open spots, if you will. Michaela coming in and Flage growing another year, but you do have two spots there, so that'll be interesting to see if Haley Van is going to go there and make it a super team. Lexi Brown was like, I want to know who's going to be the first college basketball super team, and we could very well see that. Or I don't know if you even say the first, because I feel like a lot of those UConn and Tennessee and Stanford teams, there's been a lot of teams in the past with just lots of 5-star players and everything like that dominating blue bloods and stuff. But as far as the free agency super teams, I guess that would be a new thing. So yes, LSU's rumored for her. You can also look at, no one said this, but I'm just looking at the top kind of schools who are looking for people, just period. UConn, they're kind of set with Paige and AZ. You do have the entire injury factor that you always have to keep in mind with them. South Carolina, Nozai Cook. Raven Johnson has to step up a huge level. Maybe Haley Van goes for South Carolina. I don't know. I'm trying to think of any other programs. I know Ole Miss has hit the portal extremely hard over there down in Oxford with Coach Yo. They've got Kennedy Todd Williams over there from UNC and a couple other players from the portal early on. So that'll be interesting to see. Does Ole Miss kind of just pull something out of a hat and go for it all with Haley Van? Whoever gets Haley Van is obviously getting a stud, one of the best players in the country, and has been that way for the past 3 years. Iowa was another rumored spot for Haley Van. So Iowa, that is another super team scenario in the backcourt with Caitlin Clark. those are obviously kind of like the two front-facing players. I think, looking at Iowa down the line as we name a couple of these other bigs that are available, they could desperately use one now with Monica being gone. So yeah, that is Iowa. But some people are like, I don't know about Haley Venn's fit. If you're crazy if you think she's about to go to a team with another ball dominant player with the ball constantly in her hands. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I agree with that take. I'd imagine it would probably be like LSU, South Carolina. Can't think of another school. Maybe Stanford, because they just had a guard go in the portal. So maybe like Stanford, things are opening up for her to come on in at Stanford. Maybe NC State. They're just kind of one of all those teams that always kind of brings in a transfer. Maybe a Maryland, something like that. I'd be surprised if she went to Florida. I'd be surprised if she went to, somewhere different, somewhere that wasn't like one of the usual programs we talk about all the time, especially if you're leaving Louisville. This is a good program already, in my opinion. Anissa Morrow. I could see her going. South Carolina is recruiting. Well, South Carolina fans, I'll rephrase that, are recruiting her hard. UConn could be a place where her name goes through the roof. We're playing in the conference with UConn, but you're still kind of a one-man show going to arguably the nation's biggest brand in women's basketball, historically speaking, or at least like right now, after Tennessee and stuff like that. Oh, I didn't even mention Tennessee for Haley Vann. So I'll just throw Tennessee's name in there, like I said, the Blue Bloods. But UConn for Anissa Morrow. You're looking at South Carolina. Things have opened up now with LA and Aaliyah Boston graduating and stuff like that. Is everything on Cardoso and Vegan now? And you know what I'm saying? So I think Anissa Morrow could go to South Carolina as well. Ole Miss. I'm looking at Coach O for everything just because she's such a likable person and a good basketball coach. Coached that team from like 2 wins a couple of years ago to a team that beat, Stanford in the tournament. So, you know what I'm saying? You have to admire that. And bringing in Shakira, I don't know. Coach O's just made the right moves to turn that program around in less than a handful of years. And she's hitting that portal hard. So that's another team I'm looking at. And it might sound like, oh yeah, Arizona. Let me mention Arizona. I haven't mentioned Arizona yet. It might sound like I have a bias against West Coast teams. And I guess I would. And it's nothing personal against West Coast teams. It's just I don't get the opportunity to watch a lot of their games and stuff like that because they are on the other side and stuff like that. But, maybe a UCLA or Arizona. The world is your oyster, Anissa Morrow. But this was one move that I really understood because she's been putting up some of the best numbers in the country just on the ball by herself. And it's been like that for the past couple of years. So get that exposure, get that NIL money while you're putting up 20 and 20 a night. You saw what happened with Angel Reese when she kind of did that. Not that lack of attention was a problem for her at Maryland, but, putting up some of the numbers that you've been putting up over the past couple of years, and she got all the attention this season. So yeah, Anissa Morrow, best of luck to her. Ashley Owusu, this is another one where I'm looking at LSU because of her relationship with Angel Reese. I don't know where, maybe I would say the same names. I hate to just say the same names for all these schools, for all these players, but the South Carolinas, Tennessees, places where you can come in, one of the elite programs in the country, and do something, shake something up, just get opportunity. That's all Owusu needs. I really do wonder. I'd love to ask, interview Diamond again, maybe in post-draft availability or but I need it in a one-on-one setting of just is there any smoke to the fire of the Brenda Freeze, talk of Brenda Freeze is an evil person. Is there any smoke to that? Is there any fire to that smoke? Because for her to leave Maryland when everybody else left Maryland and stuff like that, and then to have it happen a second year where the program's coach was supposedly or apparently against you, what is going on here? That does make me pause and, kind of have some concern of what's going on here exactly. NC State, as always, with Jakia Brown-Turner ironically going up to Maryland. that opens up a spot there at NC State. So maybe that's a school to look out for, and it's close to home. I think that is something that you have to keep in consideration with a lot of these kids. They are kids. They are college students. Is they like to be close to home. You see Angel Reese in all of these interviews now talking about how it was just scary for her just to go halfway across the country from Maryland to LSU. And that's not even all the way across country from East Coast to West Coast. So that'll be something interesting to look at. Yes, so that's Ashley Owusu. Sedona Prince. Nobody has told me this or anything like that, but I am looking at the West Coast teams now because he's playing on the West Coast. But got teams like USC. USC is bubbling, man. They brought in Destiny Littleton this past season. That was a success. They're bringing in Juju Watkins next season. That's going to be a success. On the men's side, they're bringing in, not that it matters, but men's side, they're bringing in Isaiah Collier and probably Bronny. USC is bubbling. Southern California is a program to really look out for on the West Coast out there. So I'm looking at USC. I'm looking at UCLA, of course. They're bringing back Charisma. They got a big commit that just committed yesterday on ESPN. Arizona. I'm looking at those West Coast Blue Bloods of Stanford, stuff like that. But Sedona Prince, but also Iowa, like I said, they need a big. I think they should go for Anissa, Sedona, and Lauren. Like, they should go for all three of them and see who they can land, who they can reel in out of that bunch. But yeah, Sedona Prince, whoever needs a big, just let her know. And then you have Lauren Betts. Like I said, I think Iowa will probably be the best place for her. Trying to think of, out of all the quote-unquote elite programs, I don't know who needs a big. Maybe UConn. I know I say UConn for Anissa Murrow, but I could see, Lauren Betts going to a UConn or an Iowa. Iowa's Midwest, so you're not going fully from West Coast to the East Coast, but you're going West Coast to the Midwest. So I don't know. I see Lauren Betts possibly going to Iowa. I think Caitlin has the star power, the pool to really, recruit one of these kids. I mean, look at what she did with Monica. I think that's the best recruiting pitch she could give, is how her and Monica worked in that two-man game and that pick and roll up there. So I would like to see Iowa land one of these bigs to make themselves more competitive next season. I mean, I know I'm talking about a national championship finalist, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if UConn can snag one of these kids. And South Carolina. South Carolina's going into a rebuilding phase. Don Staley pushed all the freshies into the WNBA draft, so it's completely clean. You had a big class that they came in a couple of years ago. They really haven't been getting that much playing time. Fegan, Raven Johnson, and Breezy Hall. Obviously Raven has grown into her freshman season, redshirt freshman season this past year, and she had a great season. Doing what she does, and I'm very high on Raven Johnson. You can call me biased right there because she's from Atlanta. Okay, I'd admit my bias right there, but I see Raven doing great things. But with Fegan, who's also from Atlanta, and Breezy, it's looking kind of like they've shown flashes of being great, specifically Breezy, with the way that she could take the ball and glide and play defense and everything like that, and be a nice glue team player who's very talented as well. Don't want to get that lost in there. But they, what I'm saying, I think there's room for competition at South Carolina now. There's room for competition at South Carolina without the freshies. And, who knows if they can grab one of these elite players, these 5 elite players, wherever Haley Van is going to, and create some competition in Columbia and make some players uncomfortable. So, yeah, that's what I have to say with that. Tennessee, I think it'll also be interesting. Tennessee's assistant coach made a TikTok talking about, NIL, talking about offering money to these players, who can get you the most money, who can get you the most deals and everything like that. So I think Tennessee might swoop in and grab one of these players. And I think Coach O, as I said, has branded herself in that program, the way she's flipped it into an interesting destination. You can't forget Coach Barnes out there in Arizona. And UCLA just is quietly, UCLA and USC is still quietly snagging up a lot of the best talent out west. So you also have to look at that too. Oregon, I don't know if anybody is, I'm saying, looking to transfer into Oregon. Like, the program is getting kind of quiet, but like I said, like, I'm kind of biased because I don't see much West Coast coverage, just in my, so I don't want my perspective to be like, oh, Rashad says no one talking about Oregon anymore. No, that's not the case. But I'm saying, like, in my perspective of what I see, on my feed and what people talk to me about, the programs they talk about, the Oregons just aren't being, brought up that much anymore. So with India, Rogers, and Sedona Prince hitting the portal, like, that kind of like doubles down on it. So I don't know. I think it's just interesting to see where some of these players are going to go. Where do you think players are going to go? Do you think Iowa, South Carolina, UConn are going to land any of these players, any of these elite names or anything like that in the portal? Do you think Tennessee is going to come and swoop someone up? Do you think Ole Miss is going to make another big splash? Arizona, let me know. Let me know what you think down low in the comments. As always, this is the Road to 5K subs. Here's a snippet of a clip from a coach I was talking to today earlier about some other stuff and some other stuff that I'm working on and putting together. But here's a clip of me talking to him about Haley Van leaving. So yeah, you all enjoy that. Until next time, take care of yourselves.
It's the end game. Now it's, hey man, find this school that's going to let you do whatever you want to do. That's not going to hold you accountable. And if they start holding you accountable, they're going to transfer somewhere else.
I was about to say, I was about to ask you about the portal. I mean, this morning, just like one of the best players in the country on the women's side went into the portal, and that's like unheard of. It's like usually if you go into to transfer, you're going because you're a role player, you want a larger role. This is someone with the green light, with the ball in their hands all game, on a Final Four Elite Eight team, and they're leaving. I mean, I guess what do you think kind of plays a part of that?
And she said that don't anybody contact me because I already know where I'm going. So that already lets you know people have been in contact with her during the season. And like now it's people just telling these kids and everything like, yo, this is what I can get you and this is the money I can get you. So like, has an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kid, if somebody's coming with a $1 million deal for you, but see what the kids fail to realize too is they're taxing that money. So like, okay, you get $1 million deal. I don't know how much you're getting out of the tax and everything. Like, you're smart enough, you got to pay those taxes. But like now it's just money's being thrown around and everything's being thrown around where, I talk to a lot of coaches and I'm not going to say any names or any schools or anything, but like for a coach to come into your household, back in the day, the first question was, like, what can you do for my son? And, like, what kind of degree is he getting? Now the question is, what type of money can you get my son? Or my daughter? And this is what we're already getting from promises from other schools. But some of these schools are breaking down their promises. They're telling you, yeah, we're going to get you this deal. We're going to get you this. We're going to get you that. Like the quarterback from Florida, the kid who's supposed to go to the University of Florida. They talking about he had like a $6 million deal with Gatorade. And then Gatorade is like, nah, we're not giving him that much money. So the kid broke his commitment to Florida and is going somewhere else. Yeah.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I mean, I want to kind of like shift towards the style of play and everything like that.
Yep.
Nowadays, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think a reason why I like drifted so heavily to women's basketball in the past few years is because like I feel like the quality of the men's game has just gone down so much. And the women, like, they're kind of forced to play the game the right way, quote unquote, because, they don't just dunk or whatever for the highlights and to get on YouTube and to get famous and stuff like that. I just want to ask you about where do you see the quality of the game at right now today?
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. I can go both ways. The kids are way more athletic, can do way more things than we could do. But with that being said, with them being way more athletic and do way more things than we could do, is less IQ. So you're totally correct where like I train people and I tell my younger kids, especially like watch the women's game because they got to think it because they can't play above the rim. Like I can get to the bucket and just dunk on somebody. They can't do that. So they're using, like jab steps and, getting into the lane and pump fakes and everything. Otherwise, the men's game are using like Euro steps and just floaters and trying to dunk. And all that's great. But I think the handicap also on that is we've come to a point with men's game where we've stopped really holding kids accountable and coaching.
Let's get it. Hop off a 16 passenger. This a G5, no, this not a Challenger. Big one.